Let us see the poem To a Millionaire. It is written by Archibald Lampman. See, Archibald Lampman. And you know very well that you have to mug up the name of the poet also. Okay, now let me read the poem. The world in gloom and splendor passes by. And we will see the meaning later on. The world in gloom and splendor passes by. And though in the midst of it, with brows that gleam, a creature of that old distorted dream, and that makes the sound of life an evil cry. Okay, let me see the poem line by line. The world in gloom and splendor. Gloom. What is the meaning of gloom? It is a depression. Depression. And the splendor, it is a joy. So, the poet gives us the two contrast things, the good and the bad, the joy and the depression. The world in gloom and splendor passes by. And so, in the midst of it, with brows that gleam. Here, the poet refers, though is referred to the millionaire. The millionaire. In the midst of it, the millionaire is in the midst of the depression and the joy, and with brows that gleam. That means standing at the top of it with a gleam, with the shining. Gleam means shining, shines. The world in gloom and splendor passes by, and though in the midst of it with the brows that gleam. That means the millionaire is standing in between the depression and the joy, the sad and the happiness. A creature, here also the creature is referred to the millionaire only, of that old distorted dream. Distorted, that means changed, distorted, changed. Changed, the dream has been changed. A creature of that old distorted dream that makes the sound of life an evil cry. That makes the sound of life. Here, it is referred to the people who are in the sad condition. That means below the poverty, the people of they are standing in front of the millionaire. That makes the sound of life an evil cry. And let us see how the questions will be asked from these lines. Before we complete the whole poem, let us see that. See, and buy and cry. And these are asked in rhyming words. They are called rhyming words, buy and cry. And one more, gleam and dream. Gleam and dream. They are rhyming words. Rhyming words. They are called rhyming words. With the same pronunciation, but even though they have got some other meanings in it, the pronunciation is the same. Dream and gleam, buy and cry. And this was asked in your public question paper also. Okay. And next one is appreciation questions. You will be asked appreciation questions from these lines. Now, let us see that. In your question paper, there is section 4, poetry. And the part 1 is memory poem. Part 1. And you have 1 into 5 marks for that memory poem. But this poem is not a memorator, keep it in your mind. And part 2 is appreciation. Appreciation, that means giving 2 or 3 lines and asking questions for that, appreciation. And the next part is part 3, literary appreciation. Literary appreciation. And part 4 is paragraph questions. Paragraph questions. And 4 parts you have got, 4 parts. And for part 2 you have 5 marks for appreciation, 5 into 1, 5 marks. And in part 3 also you have 5 into 1, 5 marks. And in part 4 also you have 1 into 5, because you are going to write 1 paragraph, so 1 into 5, 5 marks. So totally this part has got 20 marks. Okay. Now let us see how the questions will be asked. And from these lines I am going to give you the questions. In April 2012, the same lines were given, and the question was, what does the poet mean by gloom and splendor? This was the question asked in that. What does the poet mean by gloom and splendor? And gloom stands for darkness, and sad. Splendor stands for brightness, and joy. Joy means happy. Gloom stands for darkness. Darkness means the other side of the life. Okay, darkness and sad. Splendor stands for brightness and joy. The brightness shows the happiness in everyone's life. Okay, this was asked in April 2002, and there was another question also. See, who does thou refer to? Who does thou refer to? Here, for making question purpose, they split does plus refer for question purpose. So when you give the answer, you have to say thou refers. Don't forget, you have to give like this, refers. Does plus refer is split for question purpose, and in answer you have to give us refers. Thou refers to the millionaire, for whom the poet has written the poem. Okay. Now let us go to the next question. In October 2012, pick out the question number was 44 in your public question 44. Pick out the rhyming words. From the given lines, in these lines. And these lines were given in the question paper. So I have already told you that buy and cry and gleam and dream. And in April 2013, question number 40. Only this line, a creature, the third line, a creature of that old distorted dream. And who is the creator? Who is the creature? This was a question asked in this. The millionaire. The poet refers the creature as the millionaire. He is the creature. Okay. And the rhyming scheme, I think you know it very well. The rhyme scheme is A. If you give A, and next it comes to the fourth line, and B. So A, B, B, A. The rhyming scheme is A, B, B, A. A, B, B, A. Okay. Now let's go to the next part of it. And from these lines, a paragraph question was asked. See, question number in part 4, question number 49. How does the poet portray a millionaire? And this question was asked in April 2012. And the same question is asked in October also. And in April 2013, the same question was asked, but in a different manner. How does Archibald Lampman picturize a millionaire? The same question is repeated in 2 question papers, and the same question is given in April 2013 also, but in a different manner. Here they denote the poet. Here the name of the poet is given in this. So don't be confused. Okay. Good men perform just deeds, and brave men die, and win not honor such as gold can give. While the vain multitudes plod on and live and serve the curse that pins them down, but I. And the next 4 lines. Good men perform just deeds. Good men do their best and do good things, good deeds, good people. And the brave men, they face the opponent and they are ready to die even for that. So that is shown by the poet. The brave men die and win not honor such as gold can give. And the people who are below the poverty line, they will not be able to shine like gold. Gold can give the shining, the brightness, and that will not be found among the people, those who are under below poverty. At the same time, and the poet says that we cannot expect the same thing from the millionaire who are not cooperating, not giving, not respecting the other people. While the vain multitudes plod on and live. While the multitudes, here the multitudes, the poet says about the people. Multitude means a lot of people. plod on. That means they move slowly, plod on, move slowly, and live and serve the curse that pins them down. That means the sadness, the troubles they are facing. Okay, here, and before we go into the questions, we have to see one thing. And there is a question about literary appreciation. You might have studied in your lawyer forms, literary appreciations. And what are literary appreciations? Can you tell me? And the one is simile, and the next one is metaphor, the third one is personification, and there are a lot of things in it, but in the first poem you are given only all this personification. Can you explain what are these things? Simile is a comparison using as like. In Tamil we say it உவமை, இதை போல, அதை போல. உவமை என்று சொல்லுகிறோம் இல்லையா, அதுதான் simile. Metaphor is implied comparison. And we have to find out the inner meaning of it. உருவகம் என்று தமிழிலே சொல்லுகிறோம். அங்கே கம்பேர் செய்வதற்கு அங்கே பொருட்கள் இருக்காது, ஆனால் மதி போன்ற முகம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவது சிமிலி, மதிமுகம் என்று சொல்லுவது மெட்டஃபர், பெர்சானிஃபிகேஷன். அண்ட் ஹியர் personification means, and see, if we say world means we are not meaning the physical world, but the people live in it. In such places it is called personification. From this itself you can find out the person. We are talking about the person who are meant in these lines. Okay, now again let us go to one more thing, alliteration. What is the meaning of alliteration? In a line, in a single line, if the consonant, the words with the consonant repeated, it is called alliteration. And here can you find out what alliteration? Where is the alliteration? Deed and die. Deed and die. They start with the same consonant sound. So if you are asked to find out the alliteration, you can very well write down these things. And the next line, gold and give, they are alliterations. In the third line, do you find anything? No. In the fourth line, no. And literary appreciation, anything, do you find anything from these lines? No. Let us go to the next part of it. Okay, see, such as there is as and as gold, this is called simile. Okay, and you will be given a line in the question paper. You will be given this line in the question paper, and you have to write down it is the simile. You have to find out. Okay, now think only of the unnumbered broken hearts, and the hunger and the mortal strife for bread, old age and youth alike mistaught and misfed, by want and rags and homelessness made vile, the griefs and hates and all the meaner parts that balances thy one grim misgotten pile. Now let us see the first line. Think only of the unnumbered broken hearts, and before that we have one thing, but I, the continuation of that line, the previous line, but I think only, the poet thinks that he is thinking about the people who are with broken hearts. That means below poverty line, they are below poverty line, and he is comparing with the poverty, poor people and the millionaires. Okay. Unnumbered broken hearts, the hunger and the mortal strife for bread. Mortal, that means the people who live and die. Mortal, strife, and they die of strife, struggle for bread, even for eating bread. And we eat the rice and so on, but in foreign countries their main food is bread. Okay, for bread, even for bread they strive, they struggle, and they die out of hunger. Old age and youth alike mistaught and misfed. They are not given food properly, they are not getting food properly, so they are mistaught, and they lead the bad things, okay, by want and rags and homelessness made vile. Vile means evil. They become evil because they don't have the home to stay, and they don't have rags. That means even the rotten cloths, they don't have, the torn cloths also they don't have to wear upon. So by want and rags and homelessness, what is the result of it is the evil. They do the evil things, and griefs and hats, and they have, even though they are poor, they have got the griefs and hats and all the meaner parts that balances thigh, one grim misgotten pile. That means the millionaire, the one side he is comparing with the millionaire is on one side and the poor people on the other side. He is comparing it, and they are in the world, they are also living in the world, you are also living in the world, but if you at all you help them, they will be able to live on, otherwise you will have to face the evils. Okay. Now let us see what type of questions will be asked, and as I told you, and the appreciation questions will be asked from this. See, first one is the alliteration. Do you find any alliteration in the first line? No. The second line? No. And the third line? Misstart and misfed. Alliteration. They start with the same consonant sound. Okay, misstart and misfed. Alliteration. For alliteration, you can bring down them. By want and rags and homelessness made you. And in the next line, the last line, no, there is no alliteration for this, and from this. And let us see the questions asked from this. And please go through the page number 15 and 16. The first one, the first question was given in your book back exercise. You find a contrast in the first line of the poem. First line, as I already told you, that gloom and splendor, depression and joy, and the two are opponents. Okay. And even though it is not a memory poem, you have to read the poem line by line and have it in your mind, because only the poetic lines will be given in the examination. You have to find out from the line from which poem it comes. Okay.